Stewart launched in to support the attack, cast a shot. Further foot grenadiers lost. Grenadiers finally arriving to support. Infantry section suffering numerous losses, and that's about it. A stag count has been made at the British command truck, and I note the difference between the British and the American, for those who are not aware, is that the British command armored car is quite a lot tougher, which will soon be demonstrated by my forces. Otherwise, a small lull in the battle. I'm moving my stock to the central area to act as reserve, since at this moment I'm having several fronts to manage. I have this one, the bridge, the opening in the forest, and the small path here leading up to the high ground, which is a bit of a tough job to manage when you only have so many troops. Now, one way one could do it, I could also have gone defensive, but at the same time I feared if I then lost some ground I'd probably not be able to retake it using defensive, and that's rather the threat of it. Stag count then breaking through, and I'm alerted to it, thinking it's some sort of major assault coming on, since I can't really see what my enemy is doing. I immediately rush off all troops, or at least most of them, leaving only a minor guard to protect the pioneers, who's once more erecting tank defenses. Staghound waiting patiently, acting as a decoy. By the same time I decide to pull back my troops, since I don't really know what might happen. Setting up a bunker here, since I decided I probably might want to get a medical bunker. Although I rarely get them personally, because usually I find them knocked out by American artillery most of the time, and so it feels a bit like a waste. The German Firefly, best anti-tank weapon the British have, and probably among the Allies as well, capable of penetrating pretty much any armor and dealing good damage, in particular when led by a command tank, which is currently what he's unable to do because of the Staghound, which replaces the command tank. So that is a bit of a choice one should make there. But apparently he has made the choice. For what reasons, I can't say. Puma moving in, which I brought in since I figure I want something to quickly deal with any harassment, and also to provide me with a bit of scouting. And being a bit more durable than the bike probably would be a bit better at it. I've finalized my defenses here, allowing me to get out, but at the same time making any sort of movement in much more difficult for the British, allowing me more firing time with my anti-tank weaponry.
Hey, rookie, think you can handle it?
Floating a bit of resources at the moment, probably going for the final tier so I can get some heavy armor. Churchill breaking through once more. British commander lining up for an attack. Almost World War I like. But apparently decides to pull back and launch the attack elsewhere. Probably down here where the Firefly and the Staghound are waiting. A bit of a lull again as I sort of decide what to do, but immediately figure out, since I saw just briefly his troops moving that way, I'd best move most of my forces down here to prepare for any sort of incursion from the north. The British player setting up a mortar emplacement so he can provide covering fire for any assaults here, and this is not actually a bad idea. And it took me some time before I discovered that he was actually flying on me with that mortar when that finally happened out. Actually.
We have a lot of incoming fire.
And we have the battle occurring at the north. fighting are calling in a firestorm in the hopes of getting something. Ultimately, not really getting anything and not really causing a single casualty with it. The fire still taking fire from the firefly, forcing me to pull it back, and my attempt at holding back this ends more with a loss for me, since I lost troops and the Puma in my attempt. Not really what I wanted. At the same time, I finally get a kangaroo, yet only one, and not really that huge rush which I'd expected. A Nibelwerfer has appeared, firing incendiary rockets at the enemy positions. Not really hoping to take out that mortar pit, but figuring there might be some infantry nearby preparing for an assault, and thus hoping to take those out. No such luck. But we have the British moving on to the kangaroo and preparing for one assault, one would guess, seeing as there we go. Churchill, Stuart, kangaroo moving towards here, and me not really suspecting anything. Troops mounted, positioned here to hold the bridge, and the reserve force not really built up, although grenadiers and Volksgrenadiers being moved up. At the same time, I finally decided I may want an anti-tank gun to cover this as well, since it's pretty much the only other place the armor can attack. So, Stuart moving in, having a bit of a lookout, trying to spot what there is, but the kangaroo going to lead the charge on my lines. And here we go. Kangaroo spotted, I quickly pull back since I don't want anything close to that thing, leaving my troops behind to act as a diversion and a target for them, since foot infantry out in the open is always an easy target, thus allowing a bit careless, yes, and ultimately resulting in the loss of that Volksgrenadier squad tragedy and them being caught up in a most grisly manner on the front of that kangaroo. But it does buy me enough time for my Stoops and my Grenadiers with Panther Tricks to move forward, plus my AT guns. The Firefly being the first thing to be knocked out. The next being the Churchill taking heavy fire from numerous guns. Stuart trying to take out the pack with a canister shot, but failing miserably. The canister shot having a bit of trouble sometimes, doing absolutely no damage at all, which is a bit curious. And now the kangaroo moves in, takes heavy fire from all the anti-tank weapons, and crashes into that little corpse of woods. And with the Stuart gone, he leaves the game, resulting in a victory for me. Well, I hope you enjoyed this cast, and if you'd like to offer some constructive criticism, you're more than welcome to do so in the comments section. And I'd also love if you'd send me some replay of a match you thought was really great. So, cheers.